Hey everyone, it's Jeremy. Welcome back to EA Tetragrammaton, where we are playing This is turn 53. Let's jump into things. Okay, so we've got a couple of different things going on this turn. Let's check them out. We've got a dire portent from Ozzy Osbourne, God of the Elements, the Vessel of Might Kings. Fire is a fickle element. Prove to Ozzy Osbourne the fickleness of flame. So basically what we've got is Eternal Pyre up on the side of Ictlan. Pretty cool. We have an augury. We have found an enchanted pyre, which is pretty okay. 1 fire gem per turn. Brings our fire gems up to 9 per month. We are actually doing pretty decent as far as fire gems go. So that's cool. We've got a battle in Edirol that we've witnessed. Between just a massive stack of high Stenthars. This is some intensity. There's just all the blessings, right? All of these guys get blessed up. And then, oof. These freaking centaurs are just so scary. They're so scary. They're very scary centaurs, I must say. Look at that. Magic weapons, poison resistance, fire resistance, defense, reinvigoration, magic resistance, undying, blood surge, dark vision, swamp survival, mountain survival, waste survival, combat speed. Are frightening. Okay, cool. We're probably gonna try to follow that army around for a while. We've got a battle in Delka, and it's just against most of it. We've got an unexpected event in Delka. A demon has possessed a herd of swine and ravaged the province, so unrest and misfortune, unfortunate. And then we have an unexpected event in Kohnberg, where our temple was vandalized and we lost some gold. Gained a whole bunch of gold last turn, lost some gold this turn. We have a worldwide competition and an immediate result, meaning... see, it's that type of scenario where you're like, always send someone. Always send someone. I didn't send someone last turn because I was like, it's pointless to send anyone. Hinam has been going to all of these. I think Hinam sent to the last 2, and yeah. Of course, this is the particular situation where Hinam sends no one, and Kailasa gets the Winterbringer as a reward. What is the Winterbringer? I actually don't remember. Double check real quick. Winterbringer is... okay. It is a scepter that gives you the spell Falling Frost. That's okay, I guess. That's not incredibly awesome, I suppose, but I mean, it's cool. Falling Frost is a fun spell. I mean, I say that like it's bad. The Falling Frost is a great spell. I just don't know that a level 8 piece of gear, a tier 8 piece of gear, a unique, a legendary, it is Falling Frost worthy. Oh, that's all it does. I don't even think it's like auto spell Falling Frost. It's just you have access. Fuck ever. There's like that's oof, oof, oof. Alright. Thinking enemy discovered in Sinkhole Swamp, so fortunately because we have all our Yetis there, and we have 20 province defense, we're able to patrol out these heretics and pop them easily enough. Very good, very good. And that's pretty much it. So what are we doing this turn? Well, we have come face to face with a big ol' army here in Feral Woods. So it looked like he was backing off to regroup. This is, hold on, this is now one of those situations. We don't outnumber him anymore, potentially, depending on whether or not this is a low interpretation or a high interpretation, right? He could still be a little bit lower than this. He could be higher than these numbers. But I still feel confident. I still feel we've hit some breakpoints. I still feel like we have good answers to certain things. The formation, everything like that is relatively unchanged. We have swapped a couple of things around. We swapped just in case he has like more whites to mess around with us, we've swapped our Mushushus from bottom to top, and our Buffalo from top to bottom, right? Just to throw that off a little bit. But I think otherwise the formation holds. Everything that we're doing is relatively the same. I think we have added more Poison Ward just in case, because I think that's going to be a very big deal. And we did add one more Communion Master. We added some Elemental Fortitude into the mix. I think the additional Communion Master that we did add isn't really doing terribly much. I think all she's doing it's this one. She's just doing like Air Shield and some paralysis spam. So if she gets into paralysis and she gets lucky, she might paralyze one of the Dionis. Paralysis tends to target higher health individuals. So it's possible that we get lucky and paralyze one of them. Otherwise, we actually don't have that much more to cast as far as astral or air buffs go that we care about. So that should be about it. I've been deliberating this a little bit. Like, do I want to just hold Indelka? I was considering just holding Indelka and patrolling and letting them come to me. But at the end of the day, whether we fight Indelka, whether we fight in Trackless Waste, whether we fight in Feral Woods, if we fought in Feral Woods and I did Howl, that could be pretty useful. But I don't have a caster that I want to pull over to Howl. If I had something like Serpent's Blessing and I didn't have to dedicate so much to the poison wards right now, I would totally flip over to something like Howl. But I can't guarantee the fight in Feral Woods, I don't think. So I don't think it's prudent to swap or try to force that scenario. So we're going to stick with the situation as I think it demands. I'm going to see how that goes. I am considering hopping into the Chibs and taking conservative gem use off. But I really don't want doing Ice Element. I think the Ice Element will screw me over more than they will enemy. Honestly. I just think that's a bad move. So yeah, I think we're going to hold there. We are moving a scout in with backup gems, but he's going to be a province behind. We are patrolling all with Elder 5 just to try to get some of this unrest down a little bit and get the province defense back up. Have an Enkidu Elder doing what he's doing. We are utilizing our new water bracelets to start forging some Robes of the Sea. Robes of the Sea in combination with water bracelets can give us access to Water 4. There's not much that we can do with that just yet, but it opens up particular routes if we want to look into more things. Specifically, if we wanted to boost someone, right, in death, which we could do, we could start doing things like Stream from Hades. Streams from Hades would get us a Kokithiad, which is Water 3, Death 3. So that automatically puts us a step ahead on the death game. And we could go from Death 3, right, with that Kokithiad, into a Skull Staff, Death 4. We could empower. That would be Death 5. With the Death 5, we can make... we can do stuff like Lichcraft for more Death 5s. I think Liches are Death 5s. And we can do, like, a Death Cap or whatever it is. What's it called? Skullface. So Skullface is an additional +1, so that could get us up to Death 6. Which, Death 6, really, we only need 5 for most things, but we can do a couple of different things. Mostly, we only need Death 5, though, so that's irrelevant. There was something I thought that was Death 6. That could be cool. That's Death 7. Huh. Oh, I think it was Well of Misery. Because I don't know that anyone else is really high death, right? If we think about who is still in the game, the only other high death player right now is Femoria. I guess Lunka has some death. But not, I don't think as much, say, right? So I think we could, like, bootstrap our way into something like a low-cost Well of Misery. I just don't know that it's worthwhile. Well of Misery is actually, I say that, Well of Misery is one of those things that a lot of people will leave up because it benefits them, you know? Because even though your enemy is suddenly getting 21 death gems, you're also getting more money, and a lot of people are like, more money, right? So Well of Misery is one of those things where if you get it up even at a low cast, a lot of times you can retain it. Alternatively, though, but even if we don't go for something like Well of Misery, just getting things like Wraith Lords or Liches or what have you is really worthwhile. So that's an option. It's a pretty big option too, especially since I've got a pretty healthy death gem income. And at any time, if I want to just stop making Skull Mentors, because Skull Mentors right now are taking 8 per turn, right? Yeah. So Skull Mentors are taking 8 of my 14 per turn. So if at any time I want to stop making Skull Mentors, I can boost some people pretty rapidly. And if I do the right people, right? I've got Nature Ishibs, I've got Earth Ishibs, and I've got another Nature. This guy's actually, oh no, that's because he's boosted with both. Where's, I might not have any currently that aren't in the, no, here we go. So we've got, more importantly, Air Ishibs. So Air Ishibs, so why I say that, that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. With booster gear, right? Here's the other thing is if I were to take an Air Ishib, right, and boost them in water and empower them in death in order to summon Kokithiids, what they would then be able to do later on down the road is potentially Wind of Death, right? So, but that's or is it Wind of Death? Yeah, well, it's either Wailing Winds or Wind of Death, right? And that's, both of those are very powerful spells. Wailing Winds and Wind of Death are both powerful spells. It would take a lot to do because we would have to empower him, right? And then he goes about his business summoning a Kokithiid. That Kokithiid breaks into further death later on, etc. And then later on, we would have to go back to this death-empowered Ishib, and we would have to give him a Skull Staff, give him a Skull Face, and then empower him again. I guess technically we wouldn't have to empower him. He could be Death 3 and Air 1 and still cast these, I think. I'm pretty sure that he could. with enough gems, right? It would take more gems, but I guess that's a more acceptable option, right? So we're just looking at different scenarios where we have options here as we're moving into the later game and beginning to diversify. We've kind of got to look at what our strong points are, and right now our strong points are obviously nature, death, and water, with kind of a slight nod to fire, oddly enough, whereas we're kind of trash in air, not that great in earth, and shit in astral right now. So, what else do we got going on? We're doing Ring of Regeneration. We're actually going to probably get some basic thug gear for this Yeti Shaman. With paths like Earth and Nature, this guy can do stuff like Strength of Gaia, Iron Skin, Temper Flesh, and be pretty tough. Put something like a Bind Shield on him, Ring of Regeneration, something like... defensive gear like a Storm Spool or something like that. Put like a, probably like a Flame Brand or Firebrand or whatever it's called. Yeah, Firebrand. Because Firebrand is going to, one, give him a little bit of AoE, but more specifically, give him fire resistance and morale. Right? And then all of a sudden, this guy becomes a decent little thug because he has built-in chill aura, and his paths are pretty good for thugging. So that would be pretty cool. Turn him into an interesting thug, raider, that type of situation. And we can do it probably for relatively cheap. Firebrand, because we can make 4 dwarven hammers pretty easily. And we've got very good nature, which is a heavy forging path. We should be fine. There are a couple things that I'm interested in like putting on him that might not be the best. Like, it depends on who you're up against, right? Like, if I decided to throw this guy at Femoria, then I would really want to make sure I have like a Storm Spool or something on him. Am I actually making... Yeah, I'm actually making a Storm Spool this turn. I forgot about that. And that's almost expressly for the option of having some thug gear available, because I think that's one of the things that we are really missing right now. So, what else are we doing? We are building a temple here in Ctesiphon. So, infrastructure-wise, we're 2 turns away from a Palisades in Ctesiphon. We'll have a temple there next turn. We're 4 turns away from a Palisades in Kun Aral. We've been really using our money pretty heavily the last 4 or 5 turns for infrastructure rather than units or mages. So once again, we're not really recruiting anything in Agartha, Perina. We are recruiting a Gala down here in Kohnberg. We are recruiting more crystal sorceresses and more lizard shamans. We are housing those. Next turn we'll have 3 lizard shamans and a crystal sorceress here in So we're trying to build another communion, right? We've got a pretty big communion over here. Hopefully that communion will stay safe. And yeah, what else are we doing? We are basically sitting on constant lightless lanterns and skullmentor creation. That is to continue to boost our paths up. I think in Kohnberg we're probably going to get to the point to where we are summoning or recruiting a Gala every turn. Galas are going to be, because here's the other thing, now that I'm using the lightless lanterns, I don't want to put lightless lanterns on good mages, because I don't want late game to get a flood of horror marks and lose a bunch of really good mages. I don't mind getting a flood of horror marks and losing a bunch of Galas. That's okay. So we're going to focus on summoning Galas in Kohnberg and hopefully be able to turn it into a big research station pretty consistently. and boost the shit out of our research over the course. Because if we just by doing Skull Mentors are 14 research and Lightless Lanterns are 12. We are doing how much? That's 26 research in items every turn, versus a Gala just has 7 research. So it's very good. It's very, very good. So that's going to help us boost our research pretty rapidly. Over the course of the next 10 turns, we'll probably approach 1,000 research on our own. And that's going to be the main goal, right? Be able to hit 1,000 plus research so that we can boost through some of the later stages of research very quickly. What else are we? More Dwarven Hammers, a couple more Endless Bags of Water, or Bags of Wine. We are going to continue to make water bracelets. And I think that's pretty much it. So, global enchantments are kind of filling up. This is a interesting but precarious position for us to be in. We do have a global, but at this point it's probably, aside from Eyes of God, it's one of the weakest globals. That is one of the reasons why I'm interested in Well of Misery. I do think Well of Misery is a very interesting global. But I don't know that we really have a whole lot of control over going for that at the moment. It looks like Femoria staled another turn, I think. If we do get in a battle with Yomi next turn, and it goes well, I am probably going to... the main plan, again, is still to focus on hitting Enchantment 6 and then hitting Enchantment 7. Enchantment 7 is going to be a very big deal for us. Enchantment 8 is going to be a very big deal for us. So we're probably going to go straight for Enchantment 8 after Enchantment 7. But we might be putting together a army to maybe face off against Pangea or maybe face off against Femoria in the near future. I want to get back to the point to where I'm recruiting Enkidu Shamans, but I can't do that with the threat of Yomi right here. So we want to get to the point to where we can constantly recruit Shamans and Neotha and then immediately transmute or transform, right? So we'll just have to see how that goes. All right, so that is probably it for the turn. I hope you enjoyed. It's kind of, the last couple turns have been very kind of passive turns, waiting for some action to actually happen. But we're making progress. We're moving forward. We're hitting some strong goals, and I think, again, I could be overestimating, but I think if we get into this fight with Yomi, I think we're gonna win. I think we're gonna win pretty. So we'll see how it goes. All right, that's gonna be it for the turn. I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.